flora, the sea with the rock, green lush mountain, peaks, sun. Doesn't get better than this. Welcome to the Smart Travel Family YouTube channel and a tour of the TF-6 trail in Anaga Rural Park. That starts and ends in Chamorga village. We will be first going to the Anaga lighthouse on the ocean coast and then return back. Officially, this part of the route is closed, but we know that it's functioning because people have done it very recently before my hike run. And there are 3 variations of the route that we will not do, but you are welcome to extend your trail. It's TF-6 here, TF-6 to Benijo village, and to rejoin back the route TF-6 The village is located in a very picturesque location, and the main landmark is right behind me, is this big rock here. By the way, Chamorga is the starting point not only of the TF-6 trail, but also of the TF-5 one-way trail to Igueste de San Andres, so on the other more southern coast of Anaga Rural Park. How these videos work is I try to make a short clip of roughly every 1 kilometer or at noteworthy spots so that you'll get an idea what the trail is like. Already first tip in the Chamorga village, really pay attention to the trail markings. These little flags here, you could go there, that actually joins the trail later, but the path is intended to start down on the right. This is definitely a very nice trail because it immediately inserts you into Anaga Rural Park nature immediately after you leave the village, because it's at the very end of civilization. And then also you are in sort of bushes and brambles, but you have these wide open spaces here, so you really get to enjoy the scenery. On quite many other trails you are sort of in a forest, which is still nice, but you don't get to see the majestic mountain views. Not here though. We are at the first kilometer mark, so let me show you what the trail looks like. It's until the moment downhill. I assume it will be so until the sea coast, and then the climb will start. And you are arriving at this quite nice rock outcrop. Pleasant Tenerife scenery. Okay, let's get on. Well, there are no rivers on the island. If you will run or hike after rainfall, then you will get to cross some streams on the island. So let's do that. Quite a rare privilege. If you'll be hiking on the trail, you will have absolute bliss. The scenery is just superb. It's up and down. If you will be trying to do trail running, it's 50-50. Some of the spots are really nice for running, especially the uphill pieces. But if you are trying to go downhill, then it's a little bit like that. So watch out that you don't slip. At 2.5 kilometers, you will come across this ruin of a house. This used to be one of the most remote habitations on the island. Unfortunately, it's abandoned now, but it makes for a very picturesque stopover point. And then there is just a little bit still to hike until the Anaga lighthouse. As you continue walking at the ruins, you also find the probably best spot for a sandwich. This is what the scenery looks like at almost the 3 kilometer mark. You still see the ocean, and you also are reaching the crossroads here, which allow you to go either to the Bermejo beach, or you can continue on the TF-6 trail up the hill there and to visit the Anaga lighthouse up close. The GPS coordinates attached to the video and to the blog article will follow only the TF-6 trail, but I will also briefly check out the beach and include a video of it in this video as well. I would recommend that you actually make the short detour. It's less than 1 kilometer one way to the Bermejo beach, because you not only get to see some interesting seaside communities, but also this very impressive rain-created ravine here. This is one of the least accessible beaches on the island because there are no roads leading here. You can only access it by a footpath from the Chamorga village and the TF-6 trail, or as it seems by boat, because there is even a concrete pier right there that's probably serving these 4 or 5 houses here. For those of you into geology and volcanoes, the beach is probably noteworthy for this natural phenomenon, which seems to be like a solidified lava flow. I have no idea what it's called professionally, but even impressive for my unprofessional eye. If you will decide to do the detour to the Bermejo beach, then in the background you can see the Anaga lighthouse. This is where the TF-6 trail continues, and this is where you will also have to get up to. See you there. Tough ascent to the Anaga lighthouse, but I wanted to show you the scenery so that you get to appreciate it. My God, these rock formations, unbelievable strength of nature. Took me a bit longer than planned, about 20 minutes, but you see the Bermejo beach down there, and I'm at the Anaga lighthouse. Let's go and check it out. By the way, the lighthouse is slightly past the 4 kilometer mark in the trail. I don't know where exactly the trail heads further on. I think it should be over the ridge that way, but if you are into more extreme entertainment, I just saw a guy going onto the ridge there, so assume that you can also easily get up to that peak there if you are not afraid of heights. So ascent past the lighthouse. It has some quite serious fence with barbed wire on top of it, so I guess there have been some hooligans here in the past. So as you see here, you are reaching this crossroads at 4 kilometers and 300 meters. TF-6 there, back to Chamorga village. Not over the hill, but probably somewhere on the hillside. And this is the TF-6 trail that is officially closed, but you can totally do it. But of course, watch out, cause you probably might void your insurance if you have an accident. Okay, 5.5 kilometers, and there seems to be some quite porous rock here and a landslide in the past. So this is one more instance that shows you why this path section of the trail is closed. You can easily walk past it, but of course it's not like a proper trail. So I fully understand why the staff of the park would want to not take any responsibility for anyone going here. One more section where there has been a landslide, around 5.7 kilometers mark, but also one of the places with the most scenic views. A really nice rockus cliff and also some mountain flora. By the way, behind my back, the symbol of the Tenerife island, the dragon tree. There is one more, the biggest specimen in the world, on Ico de los Viños town on the island. But even the specimens that are in the wild here, they are still impressive. Kilometer 6.5, and this is the sketchiest bit of the trail. So there is sort of like a short break in the trail, so you would have to get over it. Not risky, I'm just trying to be careful so that I don't slip and don't go down there. Okay, all good. But I mean, like, even a teenager could do it if you give your hand to the person. I don't know whether this will be visible on the video, but this bit was a bit unexpected. I was coming closer and closer here and looking where's the mountain, and wow, you end up at this vertical eroded cliff coast here. One more reason, why you have to be cautious with this trail, because I think that few more years, few dozen more rainstorms, and probably the trail will not be going here, but probably way up on the mountain. So that landslide cliff was right there at kilometer 7. We are now 200 meters past it, and this is one of the most gorgeous places in the whole trail. I know I seem to say it about most locations on the trail, but this is definitely it. You get all of the best, the flora, the sea with the rock, green lush mountain, peaks, sun. Doesn't get better than this. At around 7.5 kilometers in the trail, you will reach the Las Palmas village, which is just a few houses. But this is where you have the possibility to be adventurous, and also for the more extreme traveler, hiker, there is a path supposedly back to Chamorga village, not through the regular route there, that's easily hikeable, but over the mountains behind me. You will see the route on the video. You can find it in Maps.me app. I would probably not try it, but there is a route for every person, so if it's for you, go for it. Please report in the comments if you do it. Kilometer 8 of the trail. Majestic views continue and the uphill hike has started. So we are moving there. The trail continues and moves up there. I think it still has to go down a bit, but anyway, we will have to get up to those hills there. Actually the next one to get back to Chamorga village. And this trail really seems to be affected by the earth erosion in a serious way, because there is one of those signs that warns about landslides. It's about 15 kilometers from the trail itself. This spot here actually seems to be the one that could really put an end to the TF-6 trail hikes, because if there would be further landslides here, then really there is no more place where to move uphill here. So I guess either the trail would have to be restored, or you would not be able to use this trail anymore. Fortunately for me, it's still very possible we can get by. 8.5 kilometers, and you see the trail went down there next to those houses, and now we are ascending again. There the trail continues. It's quite steep. There is a quite steep rock face next to the trail. By the way, if you know a little bit of geography of Tenerife, there in the distance you see Punta Hidalgo, that white monument protruding from the earth. This is the end of the TF-10 trail, I think, from Cruz del Carmen to Punta Hidalgo, that is crossing the beautiful Chinamada mountains and caves. Definitely worth doing that trail as well if you are here. Woohoo! Kilometer 9. Maps.me app tells me that it's 3.4 kilometers to go. The climbs are not over yet, but I already can see the Draguillo, El Draguillo village there. The Benijo beach is further behind the ridge there. So basically after here it just goes up the hill and back to Chamorga. Okay, at the 9.5 kilometer mark you arrive at the El Draguillo village. So you can do the TF2 trail to Benijo village and Benijo beach. That returns on the TF-6 trail to Chamorga, or you can just take the regular TF-6 trail that I will do here up the hill, roughly there. If you at times don't understand where to go, then simply again look for these small white and yellow flags, trail markers, and then you know that you're in the right trail. If it shows an X, then you should turn around, it's the wrong way. Whew. Kilometer 10 in the trail. You can see the El Draguillo village down there, and this trail leaves the desert in quotation marks to the very end. I still have to ascend till the very top of the ridge there to get over it and get the one last kilometer long descent to the village. If it wouldn't have this last descent, I actually would qualify this trail as intermediate, partly because of the ascent and descending, partly because of the washed out path at times, but because of this last descent, this is definitely a hard trail. Woohoo! 10.5 kilometers, and you are reaching one more crossroads intersection. So we are going 1.7 kilometers to Chamorga, TF-6 trail, but you can also continue this TF-6 trail to Benijo village and Benijo beach. On the way there also is this excellent photo opportunity on the cliff there. Kilometer 11, nothing much to report, still ascending, still a few hundred vertical ascent meters. We'll report when I'm on the top. 11.4 kilometers and we are on the ridge. So we finally get to descend to Chamorga, 1.3 kilometers, but that's the easy part, so the trail is more or less over. There is also the possibility to go to the Mirador Cabezo del Tejo, which is a lookout on top of the mountain. There it's 400 meters, but it is quite a steep hike. I just did it. Not really worth it. To be honest, the scenery is pretty much the same as you would see anywhere on the trail. So unless you have nothing to do and plenty of energy, you can go straight down to the cafeteria there. Yes, I'm back in Chamorga. Took me 3 hours of rather brisk walk, running at times. But I'm back at the start of the circular trail, so I'm definitely now going to have a Coke in the restaurant there. I have only 2 safety tips for this trail. The first one is that if you are running or hiking after rain, bear in mind that the path can be especially slippery, also compared to other Anaga Rural Park treks. And the other one comes from the park information office staff. They said that this trail is mostly in the open, so this is one where you probably will require more water than usual, and also bring a hat if you are going into the hotter summer spring month. I am now going in December, and so it's quite pleasantly warm, a little bit cool at places, so I don't have to worry too much about that. So I hope you liked the video. Thanks for your support of the channel by pressing those like and subscribe buttons, and see you next time.